always, there's going to be, sorry, just jumped in and said there's going to be a reporting in progress. Mission statement is, can we get one actionable item that we can apply to our business that's going to improve our business? Should we apply time on task over time? Should we say, all right, we're going to make this a new part of our business? We covered a database yesterday. We kind of dived into that one. There's a lot of stuff in there that you can apply. The goal for you, and every time you go to this or to any of the events that are out there, and I'm a massive fan of any event you can go to, from the GPS Summit, which is always fun. We're going to be doing that in April, more of that to come, to anything else that's out there. Even if it's a local event, you're looking for one thing or more, but at least one thing that's an actionable item that's going to move your business towards your personal goal. That's it. That's the beauty of this. Now you're surrounding yourselves. If you look around, we've got what, 50 people plus or minus, pretty darn close. We'll have, I'm sure like 60 or 70 by the time we're done. This is a group of people who are here for your success. That's it. That's the bottom line. We're here to help you reach your goals. You're here to help us reach our goals. I hope that's the idea, that this is a collaborative environment. Agents helping agents. It's the GPS Global Partners. Thank you very much, Godfather. I saw him on somewhere. Hey, Fred, how are you? Because Fred has a partner of ours now in South Africa, which is awesome. That's as far away as we go. We also have Brazil and Puerto Rico and Mexico. So we're global at this point, which is really cool.
We get the prize for the furthest distance so far.
Yes, we do. You absolutely do, Fred. I love that. That was actually, you're the inspiration for Global Partners, because all of that was, we were all pretty much part of the Americas, as it were. And when you started working with your partner, and I'm drawing a blank on his name because it's a little challenging to pronounce, which that's just me. I'm not good at that stuff, but that was so cool, Fred. That just inspired me that we can literally impact the lives of millions of people. And you guys are doing this every day. Frank, loved your post yesterday or this morning. Thank you very much, sir. That was awesome. He posted on there. Go out and tell 3 people that you love them today, because it's going to make a difference. That's one of my favorite things to say. It's 8:35. I got pen. I got paper. I'm going to grab the coffee right now. So don't drop a whole lot of nuggets in the first 2 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, she is now, by the way, I'm going to drop a link in there. If you're satisfied with what you're getting, please hit the link. Joe, keep refreshing that for me. Vote for Debbie, vote for Curtis, 2 of our partners, as top 125 coaches in the world. I will get that link somehow, get it out there, give them a shout out, give them a vote to have them do it. Remember, one more thing. This is recorded. It's recorded. We have a YouTube channel that is specific to our training, to what we do, to our ongoing masterminds, as well as something that's behind the pay screen. That's part of Workplace Chat. So if you want to revisit this and get your nuggets, absolutely do it. Tom says he's been nominated for the Success 125, but has never, ever made it. No, I'm sorry. That's not what he said. There's a lot more in there. I just had to throw Tom under the bus. Tom, who is that you put out
George.
there?
That's for Debbie.
That's for Debbie. Awesome. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
I just copied it from her Facebook. So
grab Curtis.
No, it is not me. It is
okay.
Debbie.
Can you grab Curtis?
I will.
Okay. I mean, don't put Curtis up in like the front. Just every once in a while, drop him in, and then immediately let's take him off.
Don't put him on here. Wait till he gets his day. Like, seriously? Come
That's
on.
right.
Oh, no. Not going to let that happen. Curtis is here contributing. He's awesome.
He's my BFF, so I can say that.
Okay, that's fair enough. We can go with that. Listen, I'm going to grab the coffee. I'll be back in 35 seconds. Deep, great to see you last night. Alina, if you're on here, great to see you. So many partners at Bobby's little get together. Debbie Latuga.
Cool. Hey, everybody. Do you know, you guys are my favorite group. And no, I don't say that to every group, but you guys really are. And I think it's because as I've gotten older, I've really identified what's important to me. And the people that I like to have in my mind are growth-oriented, solution-oriented, growth-focused people. Now, it's not successful people. Notice I didn't say the people I want to have in my world is successful people. I like being in a room with successful people, but I like people who are doing it, who have courage, who are getting up day in, day out and saying, I didn't do it yesterday, but I can do it today. I want to work with the people that believe that they can do it, that are showing up to these sort of experiences because they think they can learn, like George said, one thing. By the way, while he's not here, do you know how George got so smart? He showed up to events like this every day. Wasn't born on the world smart. Most of us talented people weren't born smart. We were born eager to learn. And we showed up to events like this over and over and over again. Mine is acquired knowledge. Almost none of the ideas that I share with you are my ideas. I absolutely have my flavor and my spin and my connecting the dots. The concepts, though, aren't new. You can find them in a dozen places. I was sitting in a Tony Robbins event one time with Curtis, and we were in awe of like the truth bombs and the nuggets that were being dropped, right? We're taking notes like amazing. We're running so fast. And at the same time, we're looking at each other and we're like, that's not new. That's not new. That's not new. His energy, absolutely Tony. But what he says isn't new. It's a collective knowledge that he's gathered throughout his lifetime by going to things like this, by being around other people. And here's the key: willing to share. Because I'm sorry, I don't know about you, but in my life, talented people that are willing to share what they know is a very small lane. In 90% of workplaces, in 90% of brokerages, the sharing that you're experiencing here that you take for granted, because I was a team leader for 4 years, doesn't exist almost anywhere. Now, here's what I will say: small pockets, managers here, over here, over here. Create a culture that's like this, the sharing culture, the willingness to tell you, to pull back the curtain on my deepest secrets for success and share it with you, because we all believe, and I'm not saying we XP, we, all of us humans, believe the reason we're here is because we believe that sharing our best tips does not affect our pocketbook, does not affect our family. In fact, it expands it, right? And so I think sometimes you guys take for granted that what you have here, you'll find everywhere, and you won't. You won't, I promise you. I had an agent that I hired when she started in the business, new in the business, was going to use the copier at a brokerage. And the woman that was in front of her, she says, "Hey, I've never used the copier. Can you show me?" And the woman said, "You'll figure it out." Seriously, you'll figure it out. Like, I can't help you use the copier because you're my competition. And also, for instance, I hired an agent that had been at a franchise brokerage for 20 years and never heard the word lead generation. 20 years in the business. Never heard the word. So don't take for granted the value you have here. If you need help or you're not getting what you need, reach out to someone, because guess what? You're the CEO of your real estate business. And what do CEOs do? CEOs overcome challenges for the company. So if the company, you, have a challenge like, I don't know how to do this, or I need another mentor, or I need more support, or whatever it is, guess whose responsibility it is to get that? Hate to tell you that, it's yours. But here's the thing: you're in an environment where you're not going to be met with, you'll figure it out. So reach out to your mentor, reach out to your sponsor, reach out to the leadership of GBS, reach out to somebody and say, this is the way I'm feeling, this is what I need. Because I promise you, all these smart people who've gotten smart because we were in your shoes and we showed up to 1,000 events like this, so now we look smart. We're not, we're just old. We've just been to more events like this where people have shared their genius. Reach out to somebody and get their help. I'm sorry, I soapboxed a little bit there, but it's important to know, because I think sometimes we don't value what we have because we don't know what's out there and the truth of what's out there. So just a free tip for today, but we're going to talk about And by the way, I've not felt so loved by a group of people that weren't in my family than I am from people that are eager to show and learn, right? So outside of my family, Keller Williams, I felt the love with you guys. I feel the love, right? I don't get that in my world outside my family. I don't get it anywhere from my friends. That's it, but not from people I don't know, right? So make sure you take advantage. Yes. Yeah, I know it is what you do here, but here's the thing. Here's what's key. You all do that because that's who you are as humans. Why you're here is because you recognized your values in GPS. You recognized you in this group. You didn't come here and learn how to be kind and learn how to be helpful. You were given permission that this is not a dog eat dog world, that this is not a competition. You were given permission to be who you are here. You were attracted because that's already who you are as a human, someone that likes to help, someone that likes to grow, and you recognize yourself in this group. Anyways, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Claire. Okay, sorry. I don't know why. I just trust those things, right? I really value these relationships, and I know what I have here that I don't get anywhere else. And I think sometimes we forget the value that we're actually getting. But today we're going to be talking about productivity. And by the way, not my ideas. I go and find these ideas out there in the interwebs, and I'm a curator, right? I find the most valuable things and I stick them as quivers in my, whatever the quiver holder is. Quiver holder. I think that's what it's called. And I come and share them with you. And so I don't invent 90% of what I talk about. I'm not inventing it, but I read a lot and I learn a lot. I take lots of notes. And I get around other people who are growth oriented that are willing to share how they're figuring that out. So here's the thing. If you'd like to grow, get around other people. You're here. Also read and go to these events. What Tom was talking about, the stuff, the amount of nuggets you can get at an event is like turbocharged. R&D, rip off and duplicate. Absolutely. I have had a policy for years that anybody can take anything that I've ever created and claim that they made it. My only caveat is that you make it better and you improve the world. So if you want to go and teach a class about video that I talked about a month ago and act like it's your content, awesome. Do it. Help others. Make it better, right? Take it. It doesn't belong to me. So quickly, how many people have gone and made a video after our last conversation? Raise your hand or virtually. So I see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you can raise it or virtually raise it. I see 6. There's a lot of people I don't know. And maybe you people that are driving or dropping your kids off. Can I get a real quick aha or feedback from the video that you made? Okay, Gary, I see. Jenny, I see your hand up. Yeah, thank you. Yep, 2 more. I see some of you. If you're driving, please don't click that button and raise your hand. So give me 2 quick insights from the videos that you made since we last talked.
Debbie, first of all, I'll jump in.
Okay.
Thank you for coming this morning. Really appreciate everything that you share. It's amazing. It's always something nuggets that being in the business for 17 years, we still like, oh shit, I should have done that. So very easy. What you said, don't think it over. Did a couple of videos, couple of fundraisings that I'm doing for the kids, made it much easier. Got myself, try to be myself. Because normally the only way I can be myself when in front of a camera is when I'm drinking. But when I'm normal, Zoom calls are different for some reason. But as soon as I know somebody's recording me, I become a different beast. So I did I think 3 videos and great. It feels so comfortable and so easier. And you're 100% right. More we're gonna do. It's like anything else, right? We repeat, learn, and you keep on doing it. Like every transaction. Same process, little difficulties in different situations. We go through it every day.
Yeah. And there's an amazing thing on every single camera that you ever use. It's called a delete button. So if you record it and you hate it, you can delete it. I don't encourage you to delete it. You can though. And then you're still getting your reps in, right? Doing it. One more nugget since we talked about video. And if you didn't get a chance to watch it, go watch it on the YouTube channel.
One thing I want to add to is that there's so many people that are they're doing things just naturally, like it doesn't have to be spruced up, spiced up, you just go out there and provide whatever service you can provide. And if you make it funny, it's always great. So
yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Just a key tip to remember that, pick a neighborhood or development, especially one that's under construction, and go own that keyword. Pick one and go stand out there once a month, even if it's dirt, and say, hey, I'm out here in front of the blah, blah, blah neighborhood or the blah, blah, blah condo complex. And I want to be your go-to resource for everything, this thing. And I want to share those nuggets. The other thing is go interview business owners, because they don't have a video. Just 2 quick tips that I shared last time. You'll show up in the rankings that way. But today I want to talk about the thing that I struggle the most. By the way, when I come on these things, although I'm the one speaking, I feel like they're always reminders for me. So I don't have it all figured out. I struggle with productivity. I struggle with execution. So I'm always looking for things that help me. And I clicked on a video a week ago that said, watch this video if you're lazy. And I'm like, okay, I'll watch this video if I'm lazy. And it was a video by James Clear. And he wrote the book Atomic Habits. And I've read the book and I've watched dozens of his videos and I still struggle, right? Strategy is easy. Execution is challenging, right? I know what to do. You all know what to do. Talk to more people every day. That's all you need to do to be successful. Do you need to learn some things? Yeah. If you talk to more people every day, you would have a business so big you wouldn't be able to contain it, right? That's what we struggle with, that though, right? We get busy. We don't know what to say. We don't know who to call, blah, blah, blah. So I want to talk about what happens before that, right? Not the strategies. George talked about database yesterday. Hopefully got some great tips with that. But I want to talk about, and so one of the things I struggle with is the follow through on execution. And so today I'm specifically wanting you to think about this in terms of lead generation, but these tips apply to anything that you want to create a habit around. If you want to start exercising, if you want to eat better, if you want to have more date nights with your loved ones, whatever that is, this is a habit building workshop. And when I say workshop, I'm going to talk about the framework first, and then I want to spend the time coming up with ideas and examples so that you get practical usage of how to put this together. So James Clear in Atomic Habits talks about there's a framework of 4 things that creates a habit. And would you all agree that lead generation, the most successful agents have figured out how to make lead generation a habit? Yes or no? Yeah, they have. They've got a consistent way of generating business. And when you get in the business, it's more like what shows up. And if a lot of business shows up, you're successful. And if the business doesn't show up, you're not successful. What I want to talk about is duplicatable, right? When I say to agents, where do you get your business? Oh my God, my sphere of influence. Great. How do you get that data? Well, they call me. I saw a $10 million producer go out during the market crash because everybody called them. And when they stopped calling, they didn't know what to do to create the business. $10 million producer. Some of us look at $10 million producer and say, oh my God, if I could get $10 million, I would be crushing it. Yeah, well, that person quit the business because all their sphere called them to give them business. They didn't call their sphere. So they quit because they had no business. So this framework was developed by James Clear, and there's 4 parts. To develop a habit, we need a cue. We need something that reminds us. How many of you have something in your morning routine that's a cue? Claire, do you know what that is? What do you use as a cue to do something?
So I have trained myself that my phone cues me. And even though my phone is on vibrate in the morning, I actually now have created the habit. I wake up at a certain time, even before an alarm clock, which cues my morning routine, which cues my daily devotion, which cues into my lead gen, which cues into my calls, which cues into everything. So my phone does a special vibrate when it is on my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. So
Yeah.
I trained myself, thank you, Tom Martin, that the specific things that are important, habitual things that need to be in my daily life are on my phone, in my calendar, and it alerts me 30 minutes prior to the event that I need to prepare for. That was my cue.
Yeah.
I had
Awesome.
to make that alert 30 minutes prior so that I could prepare, be it a
Yeah.
video, be it lead gen, be it whatever. I had to prepare.
Great. Thank you. I would argue for most of us, our toothbrush and toothpaste is a cue. Some people put their toothbrush and toothpaste in the cabinet. Most of us have it on the counter. It's a cue. When we go into the bathroom, we see it. We're like, oh, got to brush your teeth, right? That's a cue, right? Sometimes people put their vitamins near their coffee because when they're making their coffee in the morning, it triggers them to take their vitamins. My husband takes a couple of medications, and it annoys me that the medications are on the counter, and periodically I'll stick them under the counter. But for him, the cue is they're on the counter. He sees them. That reminds him that he's got to take them, right? So a cue is the most important thing. You've heard people talk about exercising, developing that habit. The cue is to put your sneakers and your workout clothes where you put your feet over the bed in the morning, so that as you get out of the bed, you trip over your shoes to be the cue to get dressed. During the pandemic, I was pajama day drinking Debbie. That's what happened early on, pajama day drinking. So I made the cue to put my shoes by my bed, because when I put the shoes by my bed, I would get out of bed, put my shoes on, walk to the closet, take them off, get dressed, and put my shoes back on. But rather than schlep my clothes out, I just put my shoes there. So I changed that habit of staying in my pajamas. It didn't affect the day drinking right away. How that was my Curtis. Curtis helped me with that. We looked at each other after 30 days and went, oh, this has got to stop. This is not vacation. This is a pandemic. We have to do something different. But the shoes cued me to get dressed. I'm ready for work. I'm going to get dressed in my work clothes as I get out of bed in the morning. And that's still a habit that I do. First thing I do in the morning is I go and I get dressed for the day, because I'm working from home, right? So I want to be professional and I want to start working. The second part of this habit forming is cravings, right? And that's the urge or the motivation. It's the craving. It's the urge to go do the thing. I would argue in the beginning, the cravings are not necessarily there, which is why we're creating the habit. But how do we make it attractive, right? How can we make what we're about to do more appealing, right? And if you're talking about brushing your teeth, after you brush your teeth, you might smile and look at it. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, teeth look white. Okay, that's good. You might put a photo of a fit person on your bedside table to help with that motivation until the habit starts, right? And then number 3 is how to go big to go small. That is actually doing the thing. Now, what James Clear recommends is you have to make it easy. You have to sometimes you can't start calling 20 people a day. So how do you make that easy? Can you do one? Yeah, Claire, you're going to say something? Yeah.
So Tom spoke about Tom and George spoke about this yesterday, about just making the decision to call 1 or 3, and how we can be set up for success to put that in our KV Core database. Yet again, another cue, another prompt, another habit forming, and that's the way that it starts, one bite at a time.
Yeah, one bite at a time. So if you're developing a new habit, you don't get a 6-pack abs the first time you go to the gym. He talks in the book, James Clear, about a guy who wanted to develop a exercise habit. And he committed to going to the gym for 5 minutes. He made himself leave the gym after 5 minutes until the habit was developed of going to the gym. Showing up is half the battle. You know, I know that we have a lot of tips and recommendations about how many leads you should be calling every day. And you'll hear people, especially Tom and George, probably banter about 20 contacts a day. I know really successful agents that made a commitment for 10 conversations a day. It will, one conversation a day that you make every day will change your business, that you're consistent about. A consistent one conversation per day will change your business if you're not making consistent conversations. Yeah, thank you, Claire, for putting that in there, Atomic Habits. Great book. So how do you make it easy? And we're going to talk about some scenarios once I kind of cover the framework. And then the last one that I think most of us miss is the reward. How do you reward yourself for doing the activity? So let's say you're not lead generating consistently and you're going to make 3 conversations per day. What's the reward? I would argue that it may not be easy to reward yourself on day 1. But what if you hit day 5? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You could pick that reward. It can be big, it can be small. Maybe you really want the new tech gadget, whatever that is, the new phone, the new microphone, the new whatever it is you want. So say, I'm not going to buy that until I can consistently hit 3 conversations a day for 5 days. It's just a hit. It's just a trick, right? You're just tricking your mind to help you be satisfied and feel rewarded. You do it. Full transparency. I have lost the same 30 pounds. I don't know, half a dozen times in my lifetime, sometimes more. Same 30 pounds. Here's what happens. By the way, I figured this out this week when I read this framework, even though I had read his book before. What I really loved about the framework, and we're going to talk about this, is being able to look back into your life on habits that didn't work and figure it out. When I am at 30 pounds heavier, I'm mad. I'm mad. I get to a point in my life where I'm like, nope, no, unacceptable. I am fixing this and I'm so mad. That's my motivation. So I go to the gym, I do a workout program, I eat and I get down about 20, 25 pounds and I'm not mad anymore. And I have never figured out how to switch the reward when I stop being mad, or the motivation, I should say. I've each time when I get to that, where I look in the mirror and I feel good, I don't know how to keep that mad motivation to keep going. So the weight comes back on. I'll just sneak this. I'll just sneak this. Separate book. He has a 5-pound limit, and that's worked really well for me. 5-pound limit. If he gains 5 pounds from his ideal weight, he's got an action step. He goes 2 a days to the gym and he switches to chicken and broccoli for a week. That's what happens. Scale goes up 5 pounds, new habit. I shift right into going twice a day and you only have to do it for a week. 5 pounds comes right off, right? If you don't make it go more than 5 pounds, you can keep managed. Now I have implemented that. I've just not gotten down to I have about 10 to go, but I'm at 20, which is good through COVID. So now let's talk about the scenarios, right? So it's cue, cravings, response, and reward. But let me also share with you a question for each one of those things, right? And I want you to write these down. For the cue is, how do I make this more obvious? So if you're doing a habit and it's not working and you're looking at the cue, the question I want you to ask yourself is, how do I make it more obvious? Sleep in your workout clothes if you have to. I know for lead generation, here's a cue that will make it more obvious. Print out your call list and put it on your desk the night before, and turn off your computer so that when you come down and you sit in front of your computer, the computer's off and the list is there. That's how you make it more obvious, right? print out the names or write down the names of the 3, 5, 10, or 20 people that you're going to call, and your computer's off. That cue will help you make it more obvious. So for the cue, how do I make this habit more obvious? For the cravings, how do I make it more attractive? Print it on pretty paper, print it on, make some doodles, make some copies and some doodles. Maybe that's make it more attractive. Put a pretty plant next to your list. If you're a plant, we had plant tips. If you weren't on here early, plant tips and singing and beautiful vacation views. If you weren't on the call early, you missed those things. It was awesome. Put it on a screensaver on your phone. That's a great tip. Thanks, Lizette. Thank you so much, Kristen, for the compliment. So if you are struggling, say, how do I make it more attractive? So number 1 is the cue. How do I make it more obvious? Number 2 is the cravings. How do I make it more attractive? Number 3 is the response. How do I make it easier? Well, if your goal was 5 and you're not executing, make it 3. If your goal was 3 and you're not executing, make it 1. How do I make it easy? If it's 1 and you're not executing, how do you get a Zoom buddy where you commit to get on a Zoom together at a certain time, because you're going to make one call together separately together on Zoom? How do you make it easier? And then number 4, the reward. How do I make it more satisfying? How do I make it more satisfying? I know when I first started calling expireds, I knew that when people hung up on me, that would derail me, right? Because I get my feelings hurt. And so what I decided to do, I made a plan in advance to make it more satisfying, is that when they hung up on me, I would jump up out of my chair. Yay! Sorry, that was not very attractive. And because I knew that psychological thing would counteract the negative feeling that I would feel. So guess what happened? First day, I'm calling expireds. 2 people hung up on me 2 times in a row. That 2 times in a row. The first time I was fine, picked up that phone, made that next call. The next guy hung up with me. I did jump up out of the chair. I would have to say I was not super committed to it the second time. And yet, right? So how do you make it more satisfying? So let me get feedback from somebody. And Claire, I love you. Deep, I love you. And thank you for being my great supporters. I want someone else to share. So Daryl, I see your hand up. So how would you use this framework for your lead generation? Cue, craving, response, and reward.
Debbie, so I'll throw this out there. So when Debbie and I worked together, she didn't get me to say this. I was just reflecting on my experience with Debbie as my coach. I had a hard time with conversations with people. And I was okay, I'm talking to people, but I don't know how to use the real estate. I don't know how to ask for referrals. I don't know, and I'm freaking out because I don't want to be pushy. I want to be service oriented, but I need the business and all this crap. So I'm the first week goes by and finally I tell Debbie, I'm just like, look, I can't do this. And she's like, can you talk to people? And I'm like, yes. She's like, all right, just go talk to people and figure out, and keep track. And my goal was 100 real estate conversations a week. And so I was like, I can talk to people. And so I started talking to people, whether it was real estate or related. I just started keeping track. Boom, boom. I have my little book. And my motivation was the next week. I was like, oh, Debbie, I got my 100. And Debbie's like, oh, good. Her little smile. And that was my reward. And then she's like, well, how did it work? And over time, over about 12 weeks, I noticed that my conversations went from quantity and the quality started filling in. So I was having more, I mentioned real estate. She's like, great. And then she would point out a few things like, well, that's a lead. You got their name and number. And did you put it in your database? No. Well, you have information for a lead. So you got to count that. And I started seeing more success because she said one thing, don't worry about having real estate conversations or getting referrals. Just freaking talk to people. That's my word.
Now, which of these 4 frameworks did that fall under?
The third one, because I totally
lost.
Third
one, make it easy, right?
Yeah.
Yep, make it easy. Thank you. Somebody else, tell me about how you're going to set up your lead generation using the framework. What's going to be your cue? How are you going to make it more attractive, which is your craving? How are you going to make it easy? And then how are you going to make it satisfying? Okay, pick one. See, look, see what I did there? I just made it easier. Which one of these things are you do you
Hey,
intend to add to
Debbie,
your
I'll-
business?
Debbie, I'll jump in.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
So I do mentorship, and one of my graduated mentors on here, and I'll be honest, I am running a pretty successful business, but lead generation as far as calls is my biggest thing that I don't do, even though I coach it and tell it all the time. And so I was just thinking, as you're teaching this, I'm just going to start doing a challenge with the mentees. And by doing that challenge, we'll do a weekly challenge on calls and lead generation. And then what I'm going to do as well, that'll hold me accountable by setting our number. But I'm going to do, 3 calls, say, because we do a 1-hour training session, Zoom training session on Wednesdays with the whole group. And I'll do 3 calls during the training sessions to build consistency is my biggest thing. I kind of fly by the seat of my pants. So, to build that consistency.
Yeah, I love that. So that would fall into the challenge is making it attractive, right? That's improving the motivation because it's challenge. By the way, have an accountability buddy improves number 2. It increases your motivation because you don't want to go and tell your buddy that you didn't do the thing that you say, I didn't do it, right? So the motivation is the competition. Thank you, Rocco. You said you're going to start with your contacts in your phone. 1 to 4 people. So Raquel is just going to start with the A's in the phone and call the first 4. I love that, right? So that's easy. That's making it easy. What I find for most of us is we struggle with that reward. So what am I going to do for myself if I make those calls? Because the reward of having business doesn't always show up in week 1. This is a 90-day business. And I know you hear that from Tom and George. So the activity, we're an instant reward society that lead generation doesn't do for us. It does not give us instant rewards because if someone says, yeah, I think I'm gonna work with you, that can be 90 days out. So it's not like we talk to someone today and we get business today and we get that reward. So you do want to think of how can I reward myself for taking these activities? Lizette, did you have your hand up to a question or to comment?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I don't know how to work the Zoom stuff sometimes, so forgive me if you start seeing a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that one way to do this, I mean, you can actually commit to, if you're doing a trip with the family, you can actually pay the plane tickets or do something that is dramatic. Of course, that involves putting money there, but doing that thing that you want to do so that way you're obligated to make that, right, that production, so that way you achieve it because you've already bought those plane tickets and you're not going to get your money back. Just an example.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great example. I love that. Right. And that also speaks to the motivation. When I was a team leader, I used to take a picture of Tom Martin and put it on the back of my family photo that faced out on my desk because Tom was really, really successful as a team leader. And I used Tom, actually, it wasn't Tom, it was another team leader. I just thought it'd be funny to say Tom. But I put a picture of another team leader was seeing great success in our region and, recruiting success. And I would put a picture of her on the back of my family photo that faced out of my desk. And every time I didn't want to make another call, I said, is she making another call? She's probably making another call. I'm going to make another call because she probably make another call and I can't let her beat me. So that motivated me. Here's the other thing. Sometimes you have to change the motivation when the motivation stops working. By the way, this GPS group is a motivation group. Going to a gym and hiring a trainer or doing thing with a group is motivation because you're doing it together, right? One more scenario, either a cue, give me a cue. What cue are you going to use to help trigger you to make your calls or to lead? It doesn't have to be calls, conversations, whatever it is you're going to do to look for business. What cue are you going to use to help you get started?
I'll go.
Thanks,
Okay,
Paola.
so I've been struggling with calling people as well. So for me, my trigger is going to be printing out the names of the people or making a list of the people that I'm going to call like from Monday through Friday, and already have them like on a schedule, 10 to 15 people at least, and then that'll trigger me to just do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best thing for me.
And what reward will you set up for yourself when you accomplish that the first week?
I would go out maybe with friends. I've been trying not to, splurge, since I'm not doing much, but I guess that would be my reward.
Cool. You can go a coffee shop and for $5 you can hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can go to a library for free
Right.
and hang out with your friends, or a bookstore, right? I'm showing my age, a bookstore, hang out for free, right? The importance is to get together, not necessarily to spend the money. Make sure you're doing all the things, because if you miss one of these items, if you don't set up a reward for yourself, nobody has motivation. Nobody is smarter than you, more talented than you. They've just figured out how to make a habit of it. And by the way, if you have an admin, get your admin to make the list and stick it on your desk. Don't you do it. Let them do it. That's an activity they can prepare and put on your desk every morning, right? Lizette, did you have another comment?
I'm chatty today. Yeah, another thing I was gonna say, the Morning Miracle, that little book, it's really short, but it kind of hits that point of like, I don't get to do this until I do this. I mean, I know it talks more on the personal life, but the same thing, because sometimes the rewards are not monetary. Sometimes it's like spending more time with your kids, or, hey, I just want to cook dinner for my family, or I just want to be able to watch the basketball game on Saturdays with my son or for my son. So things like that, which I know some of us struggle when we're growing, for me as well. So, I mean, I just want to put that out there with that.
Maybe you have a hobby. Thanks, Lizette. Maybe you have a hobby. Maybe you like to do some sort of hobby. And maybe you tell yourself, I'm not going to do that hobby till I make my calls. The most successful people develop good habits. And if you're struggling, how can you look at your habits? So give me some ahas from what we talked about today. And maybe someone that hasn't spoken. And I love everyone that speaks.
Hi.
Thank you so much. When we're up here presenting and people don't talk, it can feel challenging. So everyone that does talk, thank you. And I get it if you're driving. I don't want you to be distracted. Evelyn, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I just get an aha, that last thing that you said. If you are struggling, look at your habits. I wrote that one down. That one was excellent.
If you're struggling, look at your habits, right? Making the first call, Melanie says, is the hardest, because you have to say, how do you deal with rejection? Well, you saw how I deal with it. I jumped up and down. Now, here's the thing. I promise you, if you're calling your people in the phone, I don't know you're going to get much rejection because they know you. Hi, it's Debbie. Hey, I think we met at that networking meeting. How's that going? Yeah, good, good. Listen, what's new for you? What are you excited about 2022? Yeah. Great. You know what I'm excited about? I'm excited about helping 20 families buy or sell real estate next year. I was just curious, inventory is so short. Oh my gosh, we have no sellers, all these buyers. We can't find the houses. There's lots of competition. Do you know anybody that wants to sell? No? Great. If you heard of anybody, would you call me? Great. Right? Someone that's in your phone is probably not going to reject you. So I get that. They know you. They might say, no, I don't have a referral. That's not a rejection. Now, if you're calling expireds and you're calling for sale by owners, absolutely. If you're cold calling, absolutely, you can get rejection. You know what my tip is? Go find a community of other people that are doing the same thing and help each other. Find someone who's doing the thing that you're not doing that you want to do, and get with a group and say, hey, let's commit to mastering this together. Right? And here's the thing. The more you do it, the less it bothers you. So in the beginning, it kind of bothers you. The more you do it, here's the thing that I always think. I'm awesome. And if you say no to me, well, your fault. Obviously a stupid person because you said no. You hung up on me. Obviously you're an idiot. It's okay because because I'm heart-centered and I have integrity and I will serve you at a really high level. And if you hang up with me on me, it's because you don't know that. You think I'm something else. That's your problem, not my problem. That's just a little rant for rejection. Get with other people. Krista, I see you had your hand up. Do you have an aha from today?
Well, yes, I just wanted to maybe contribute to, because we all struggle with calls. I get onto these calls with Ricky Caruth and Andy Rosas from Miami. He has a podcast called The Habits of a Realtor or something like that. And it's really good to just listen how everybody else does it. They both come from just making friends and that mindset, just make a friend. You're not trying to make a sale. You're not trying to do anything else. Just make a friend and build your database. And they get a lot of rejection. So it's good to see other people getting rejected because then you feel like, okay, I can do this. So getting on those calls, it's on a Zoom and you can see them do it. And it kind of gets you in that mindset that it's okay. It's going to be okay.
Great. Thank you. Yeah. If you want more information, reach out to Krista or Krista, if you get a chance, can you drop that information in the chat? That'd be awesome.
Sure. Yes.
And then Chris and Daryl. Chris and Daryl have their hand up.
Yes, this is Daryl. I like the visual aids for reminders. I thought that was really amazing, the way you do that. So I'm going to start using more visual aids in my business for reminders. Thank you very much on that.
Yeah. The cue, right? What's going to trigger you to do the thing? The toothbrush is on the counter. How are you going to set up whatever habit? How are you going to make a cue to start the thing, right? And you hear people say lead generation. If you're doing a new habit, then it's helpful to do it first thing, because postponing it makes it more difficult. If you can't have your cup of coffee until you've made a call, right? How do you make it easy? One call, one conversation before I get my coffee, right? That would be a cue, or that might fall more into motivation, right? I'm not going to allow myself to have coffee until I make that call. One more aha from today. And thanks, you guys all have some great stuff here.
Can I speak after the next aha, Debbie, real quick?
Yep.
I'll let the next aha go first.
Okay, cool. One more.
Aha.
Thanks, Daryl.
You're up, Tom.
All right, Tom, go ahead.
So Debbie, thanks for today's call. The cue for me, and if I don't have my business plan together, I'm kind of running, trying to find a destination without a roadmap. So the cue for me is having my business plan done and having it in front of me and having an accountability person that has my business plan. And that is, and I keep it KISS, I keep it short, simple, and relevant. It's not complicated. Just keep it very simple into daily activities. So that business plan is in front of me. I remember a very highly successful leader within our past organization, who was our past president, used to write his goals on his glass shower door before he was married, right? He wrote all his goals. So every time he is in the shower, he's seen his goals. So for me, I have to my cue is to have that goal written out, because if I don't, I'm going to try a million different things that's going to make me go broke trying every easy way out. So that was my huge aha. Second, those of you who really truly get so much from Debbie, go on to that link and cast your vote. Yes, Debbie and Curtis both are amazing. You can vote for both. You can vote for one, do whatever, but cast your vote. It means something. So Debbie, I just want to say thank you for the continuous relationship and everything that you're doing. That's
awesome.
Oh, and Friday, we're
so
doing the 135.
Who's doing the 135?
I'm doing the 135 with Claire. We're doing it together. on Zoom for our call for Friday. So everyone has the 135 and they'll have it as a downloadable. And we are doing that. And that is my business plan. So that's my business plan. And the action plan I put together afterwards is the actions I'll take to succeed at that plan. So those of you who are on the call are kind of curious of what we're talking about, don't miss that call, and invite a friend, invite another EXP agent. We need to spread the word so they can take part in this. So.
Yeah, I see Chris and I think Daryl has his hand up again. Chris and Daryl.
Hi, it's the Chris half here. Good morning.
Hi, Chris half.
I'm going to twist on what Tom Martin was just saying about writing things in the shower, something that I've been doing for years, which has been really good for me, and maybe it will help other people. I use expo markers on the bathroom mirror. So it's easy enough to change it up, you know, daily affirmations, goals, whatever you need, ideas that come to your head while you're brushing your teeth. Just thought I'd share that.
That's awesome. I never knew you could put the expo markers on the mirror. That's fantastic. Rocco
Yep.
saying what time Friday? I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's in response to Tom.
8:30.
The time for that is 8:30. And I wanted to just let you guys know that you guys can vote for Debbie and Curtis once a day. I know this because I tried to vote for her under 5 different emails yesterday and it said, no, vote for someone else or wait till tomorrow. So then I went and voted for Curtis. So Debbie, you can throw that in Curtis's face that I did vote for you first. And
Okay,
then I
I will.
voted for him. And
Yeah.
it just allowed me to vote with the same email as yesterday, today for you. So you can do multiple votes.
Thank
Just
you.
throwing
Thank
that
you
out.
so much. That's all I have. I don't have anything else. Thank you all for being
Thank you
awesome and
so
for
much, Debbie.
sharing. I hope this helps. Get an accountability buddy, get a coach. If you want someone to help you develop habits, get somebody. You don't need to have the willpower all by yourself. Get a peer, get a coach, get somebody that can help you execute on those things. Thank you, Christine.
Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you.
Thank you.